Thank you for coming out today and really prioritizing yourself and your joy in these times, because with everything that's happening, the world is a mess, okay? But what I like to say is, even though 2020 has become a little bit of a mess, that doesn't mean that we can't bless the mess of 2020. And how do we do that? By first tapping into our joy. And I'm gonna share exactly how we can do that today. Again, my name is Erica Lasan, and I am an alignment strategist. So I help people in transitional phases of life navigate and ride the wave to figuring out what's next by first finding joy and healing through that process, one feel-good thing at a time. So you don't get overwhelmed with the idea of finding joy and purpose, but it's something that brings you pleasure. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. So our agenda today is, again, talking about joy and purpose. But if there is one thing that we first need to discuss, and one thing that we could all use in abundance, especially during these times, it is peace and joy. And now I'm sure we all know what peace and joy means, but I took it to Webster's Merriam Dictionary to get the real definition of peace. So peace is freedom from disturbance and tranquility, and joy is a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. And it's really important that we tap into these things at this point for a number of big reasons, a number of reasons. All right. So the beautiful part about peace and joy is that when you find these two things, you're able to access your purpose. And purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And so many people don't really take the time to prioritize figuring out what their purpose is, or taking time to access their joy, because they feel like, well, I don't have the time to do that. There's so many other things that I have to prioritize. I have to go to work. I have to like take care of my family. I have like this family member that needs help, or, you know, my kids, or whatever the case is. There are always so many excuses or reasons why people don't make it a priority to really prioritize their joy and their purpose. But let me tell you guys what happens when you're able to access your purpose. You're able to access that peace, you're able to access that joy, and those two things then also flow back into the cycle of purpose and reinvigorate and rejuvenate your purpose. So it's like this beautiful cycle that I like to call a serenity cycle, where everything feeds off of each other. And I want to share a little bit more about the process of how I even came to recognize this, a little bit about my story, and why I am so passionate about people finding joy and purpose, how I could potentially help you in learning these things. And before that, I kind of want to give you a little bit about my story. So if you have any questions, please write them down, and feel free to ask them at the end. There's going to be a little bit of a Q&A section. So stay tuned. All right, so it all started in 2009, where there was another great transition in the world. It was not depression, it felt like a depression, but the recession. In 2009, I graduated from college in the middle of the recession. Here I was, like, super excited about the idea of leaving my childhood behind to pursue more adult things, and graduating with an amazing job, with an amazing salary, and like all of the life things that happen after. And then recession hit, right? So I didn't get that job that I really wanted. I ended up staying at an internship where I'd been working with a marketing agency, which is at the time what I thought I wanted to do. And I hated it. I was crying every day. I found myself crying every single day at work. Behind my desk, I would take extra long bathroom breaks. And I wasn't using the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet crying. During my lunch break, I would leave the building to go on a walk around the building. But what was I doing? I was crying. I would call my then boyfriend, he's now my husband, and I would talk to him for the hour that my lunch break was. And every day I'd be like crying, and he's like, well, what is it that you want to do, Erica? What is it that you want to do? And I was like, I want to do everything. There's just so much that I wanted to do, you know, and I didn't know how to do those things. And at one point, he said something that literally changed my life. And he was like, well, Erica, just start. Just do something. That's literally what he said. He said, just do something. And it was like a light bulb went off. And all of a sudden, like all of the energy that I'd spent worrying about what I didn't have or the steps that hadn't been made in progress were then, all that energy was then used and put towards actually putting myself on the path for where I actually wanted to go. Like in 2011, I was going to job interviews for jobs I didn't want, more with marketing and all of those things. And I realized that none of this stuff was actually stuff that I wanted. So I decided to pursue my joy. Yeah, so this is what happened the moment I decided to pursue my joy. I went back to the drawing board. So I ended up quitting my job at that marketing agency that I hated and that made me miserable. And let me tell you, it wasn't that the job itself was a horrible job. It was marketing with the home comfort industry. So it was HVAC, oil, and propane. So it wasn't a sexy industry, but it was more so the fact that I didn't feel fulfilled in my job because I wasn't being fully utilized. All of my gifts and my talents, because I'm also a multi-passionate creative, weren't being put to use. And so I realized that I needed something that would engage all of me and excite me. And that's part of the reason why I felt the way that I did. So in going back to the drawing board, I decided to stop chasing the traditional ideals that everyone else either wanted for me, expected of me, or the path that other people may have chosen for me, and to do what felt good. And then going back to the drawing board and quitting my job, I decided to go back to retail. Now, if anyone has studied for 4 years of college, that's probably not something that you would expect or want. It's probably not something that if you were telling people, they'd be like excited for you about or they'd understand. But for me, it was something that I needed at the moment because it helped me tap into my love of color, my love of style, and creativity. And on the left-hand side, you'll see me at the job that I ended up taking. I ended up going into Manhattan, taking a job working as a sales associate at this boutique. And then I started as a sales associate, but I quickly moved up because of my passion and things for the type of work that I was doing. On the right-hand side, you'll see that I was in Chinatown because I also made jewelry. And at that point, I started making my jewelry again because I'd been making jewelry since I was 13 and I stopped when I went to college because I thought, oh, well, you know, in maturing and adulting, I have to put all the fun stuff aside. So I stopped making jewelry. And once I decided to quit my job, I started making jewelry again. So that's where I am there. And let me tell you guys the amazing things that happened once I decided to make those choices. In 2013, I founded Que Rica TV, which is my YouTube channel, but it's also some place where I started doing street interviews because I realized that was something I was really passionate about. In 2014, because I started that process, I was picked up to create shows for digital network series like Black and Sexy TV out on the West Coast. I was their first East Coast show and lifestyle show. In 2015, like I thought that things were really moving. My jewelry was selling at that same boutique where I was working before. That's a whole other story. I was getting picked up to host these gigs because that's something that I wanted to do. I got selected to be, in 2015, you'll see it here. I got selected to be a part of NBC Universal's first diversity hosting program. So I was like, oh my goodness, things are happening. Lord, I'm about to be on E! News and all of these amazing places. And then I discovered I was pregnant. Like, I discovered I was pregnant, and as excited as I was for the potential to be a mom, I also felt very overwhelmed with the idea of, oh my goodness, I have to give up my life. I have to give up my dreams. I have to give up all of the things that make me happy to live a more serious lifestyle. So when I say I work with people in transitional phases, it's because of these three main transitions that I personally had in my life. First was graduating from college. Second was discovering that I was pregnant. And that was the whole thing. For a year, I was like really excited about the parenthood journey. But for that year, I didn't do anything creative. I really just focused on being a mom and trying to be a good wife and all the good things we're supposed to do as women. And it was fun, you know, it was great. It was awesome. But I also, again, started to feel that feeling of, well, what am I doing for myself? How do I tap into joy? So at one point I picked myself up after 16 months of being a mom, and I started creating again. And I was really excited. I put out my first video in a really long time. It was called the Live Rich Mommy Rap, and it was detailing the whole time that I'd been away, what had happened over the past year and a half. Let me tell you guys, and I kid you not, the week that I put the video out, a week after I put the video out, and I was like, oh, I'm back, I found out I was pregnant again. Transitional phase number 3. So it was kind of like the same thing happening over and over again. Just feeling like, oh, gosh, like I feel like I'm moving, then something happens. I feel like I'm moving, and then something happens. So in 2017, I learned that I was pregnant with our second child, Jace. And in 2018 was when I decided to really commit to my Live Rich motto. And I'm gonna share what the Live Rich motto is with you guys, so you can know exactly what that is. The Live Rich motto is live rich and happy dream chasing. Did I skip 2? Nope, I didn't. All right, live rich and happy dream chasing. It's something that I say all the time. It's something that really fuels kind of how I move and chase my dreams and ambitions, and also kind of the way that I encourage my community to live as well. But it's a whole other thing to say it and do it, you know, and embody it, especially when you're feeling like you're not in the best or probably most, where you're in a space where you're not moving in the way that you would hope, right? I don't know, how many of you guys can relate? Actually, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring the chat up here, because I can't see if you guys are talking, and I really would like to engage with you guys a little bit more. So how many of you guys can relate to any of these? We're gonna take a little bit of pause. How many of you guys can relate to any of these transitional phases or periods that I've mentioned at all? Like graduating from school and expecting something amazing to happen and it falls flat, or potentially becoming a parent when it was unexpected, or maybe having that job that you don't love. Can any of you guys relate? I would love to hear in the chat some of your personal experiences really quickly. I'm gonna leave it for a little bit. Nobody? Anybody? Okay. Graduating, expecting a great work experience. It's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. You think that becoming a primary caregiver for your elderly parents, ooh, that's rough. Not finding the dream job, you know, and these are all things that we expect and all things that we think will happen for us, especially if we do things right? How many of you did things the right way, expecting that by following everyone else's formula, you would be put on track to live the best life and that everything would be peachy cream? How many of you guys felt that way? Yep, it's a whole thing. So this is the reason why, see, Ty feels me, Ellen, you feel me? Yes, you guys feel me. So the thing is, you gotta live for yourself. You gotta live rich in your joy, your purpose, and your freedom. And here is the reason why. When you find joy and find joy and purpose in hard times, when you find joy, you're able to find your purpose, live in peace in hard times, even in the middle of a global pandemic and during, or in a racist world, or a world where not everyone is felt, seen, and heard, okay? So here's why it's really important to find joy and purpose, because it is our one true job, okay? It is our one true job. And the thing that we need to consider is, what has the divine creator designed you for? And everyone has a purpose. But again, so many people take so much time considering what everyone else wants and their circumstances and situations that they don't allow themselves the freedom, because it's really freedom that you gain in starting to consider and pursue your joy and your purpose. They don't allow themselves the freedom to even get in the mindset to ask themselves, what is it that I truly want? So I want to ask you guys now, I want you guys to take a moment to consider these 3 questions that I'm going to ask you, especially as we go throughout the rest of this presentation. 1, where have you been? 2, where are you going? And 3, what do you want? What do you want? A couple of weeks ago, I was driving down to Maryland with my husband, Nick, and we were talking about what we wanted to be when we were growing up. And the conversation like turned to a lot of things, again, that people expected, like, oh, a lawyer or a doctor or something, you know? How many of you guys have had that experience? Like when you think back on what you wanted to do growing up, it was based on what sounded nice or what other people would have expected versus what you want. That would be really, really awesome to hear. So again, consider these 3 questions. Where have you been? Where are you going? And what do you truly want? Because that's where your joy comes in. That's where your joy kicks in, and how you're also able to access your purpose. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my motto, right? The Live Rich motto is live rich and happy dream chasing, but it's really faith-fueled and purpose propelled. And the reason why is for a number of reasons, okay? The Live Rich motto is broken down into 3 parts. And so I'm going to introduce them to you one by one, and we're going to do a deep dive with some examples of each of those things. And I really want you guys to continue to watch and stay to the end for a bonus piece that kind of pulls everything together. And if you're able to activate the Live Rich motto in your life, then you will make great strides towards living in your joy and your purpose, even in the middle of a messy situation of a world like what we're living in right now. So yeah, stay tuned. All right. So the first thing in considering finding your joy and your purpose, the first thing you want to do is you don't want to be a Chicken Little. I don't know how many of you guys have followed Chicken Little, or you know the story of Chicken Little. If you guys know the story of Chicken Little in the comments, can you give me a little like hand wave or a little like, yes, I know Chicken Little is in. But basically, Chicken Little was a chicken that saw that the sky was falling. And he went around town telling everybody, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And while Chicken Little had really great intentions and he really wanted to help everyone, including himself and his family, like avoid the disaster that was coming, what he did, even though he didn't intend to, was just create more panic. He just created more panic. Like in his effort to help everyone else and in his effort to like save himself even, while he had great intentions, it was only making the matters worse. Instead of running around and trying to like talk about all of the things that fluster and frustrate you, instead, I would recommend that you get grounded. And here are the things that you need to get grounded in. The first is your faith. So remember when I said that my mission is like faith-fueled and purpose-propelled? Well, this is the first piece of the equation, living in faith. And for a lot of people, faith, they automatically associate faith with religion. And there's a really, while that faith does fall under the umbrella of religion, it's really about spirituality. And faith shows itself in a lot of ways, okay? So even if you're someone who isn't a believer, or even if you aren't someone who believes in any type of divine creator, you believe in something. Faith is simply believing. So the idea of what you feed is what will actually be created. So whatever you believe, whatever you say, however you act, will become the things that manifest themselves. So you can manifest faith or you can manifest fear. You can believe that whatever you're gonna do is gonna produce positive results that work in your favor or results that work against you. Faith versus fear. What is it that you hope to, manifest? What is it that you hope to create? And whatever it is, that is what you should focus your intention and your minds on. Because ultimately, you can't control the things around you, but you can control how you engage with the things around you, which is the huge, huge separator and the huge difference that most people fail to recognize a lot of the time. And so the idea of leaving what you can't control is major, and that comes with surrendering. And when you access faith, you're able to surrender. You're able to release and let go of whatever isn't serving you or whatever is heaviest on your mind in that moment to a power or that's higher than you, and knowing and trusting and believing as you surrender that it will be handled and taken care of. That's essentially what faith is. Faith is trusting and believing. And again, know this, faith is fed. So you can either feed your faith or you can feed your fear. And if you're going to be feeding anything, it should probably be the thing that's on the more positive end. You guys feel me? Can I get a yes or a, do you guys, how many of you can relate? How many of you, what are you feeding in this moment? Actually, let's take a moment to talk about that. What are you guys feeding right now in your life, in your fields, with everything that's happening in the world? What are some of your biggest considerations, your biggest fears, and some of the greatest faith-led things that you're believing or expecting or waiting for? And with this, I think, can I take this off of, I'd like to see you guys.
Sure. Yeah.
How do I do this?
I think on the top, you don't see it. There you go.
Is that how it goes? Believing in justice. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, let's talk about this for a quick sec. Believing in justice. That's one that I am also believing and hoping and praying for. Ultimately, justice always gets served. We just may not experience it in the way that we hope here in this world. Wait, am I? Oh, duh. I'm like, how is this working? All right. Anybody else? Is there anything that you're feeding, you're feeling, and believing for in these moments?
I would say a lot of people are probably fearing like furlough, like you hear that happening more and more often with a lot of companies. So I know maybe that's a fear.
Fear of furlough?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Believing
true.
in keeping the
Believing in hope and keeping the faith. Yes, yes. And as you do that, so I would, I guess this is a conversation for later, but I would love to hear how you guys are actually like actively doing that each and every single day, because that also plays a really big part. Okay. So we're going to keep moving. Okay. Resuming share. Okay. Is it moving? Is it doing its thing? All right. So the next part of the Live Rich motto is, again, finding your purpose and living in your purpose. And this thing, the idea of finding purpose is really a mental work exercise that starts to play out into the physical realm, like in how you start to live it every single day. And in its very unique way, purpose has a way of bringing both joy and peace to your life. Okay. Some people say that happiness is an inside job, you know, and yeah, that's a cute quote. It's a nice idea. To some extent, yes, happiness is an inside job, but it's also a partial lie, because the ability to live in your purpose allows you to be fed by the happiness of others as well, because ultimately it's not about you. Okay. It's not about you. And living in your purpose and doing stuff that comes to you so easily, so well, stuff that comes to you like the back of your hand, you're able to serve communities around you and people around you in a way that allows you to feed off of their happiness, but also be fed by their happiness. Like, feed their happiness and be fed by their happiness. So again, it's that cycle of joy that is created by simply doing the things that you do and doing them well. So it's about serving when you live in your purpose. But I always like to say that finding your purpose and living in your purpose is the selfish act that allows you to become selfless. And the reason why is because you can live in your purpose all day. You can do the things that you enjoy all day. 24/7, 365. You can do it. And it's never at the detriment to anybody, you know, because it fuels you and making you feel good. And you get that like natural high from doing the thing that you love and the thing that you do well. But it's also something that, again, serves those around you. So as you're doing the thing that you do well and that you enjoy and brings you immense joy, you're also bringing immense joy to others. So it is the selfish, it's like the ultimate selfish act but it is also the most selfless thing that you can do. So when people are so concentrated on doing everything else but trying to figure out their purpose and living in their joy, they don't realize that they're actually doing a disservice to themselves and a disservice to the world. Because when you're not showing up in your purpose, you're actually not allowing the world to see the best parts of who you are. You're not allowing the world to access all of the goodness that was intended when you were created. And you're also not allowing them to be blessed by what it is that you have to offer in all of your gifts and your talents. So it's really important that people find joy and live in their purpose. So I want you guys to take a really quick second, right? To close your eyes and imagine what a world where everybody lived in their joy and lived in their purpose. Like literally, I would love for you guys to close your eyes right now. Close your eyes. Like we're going to take like 5 seconds to do this real quick. Close your eyes and imagine a world where everyone lived in their joy and their purpose. Like, what are some of the things that come to mind for you guys? What are some of the things that you see? What is the feeling that comes from just imagining something like that? If you could, I would love to take like 45 seconds to hear what those thoughts and those feelings are in the chat real quick, like super quick, like 30 seconds quick. I don't have a timer on, but that's the idea. Happiness, yes. Peacefulness, yes. What else? What else? Like, it's just like release of anxiety. Yes, that is so major. Freedom, yes. Yes, yes, yes. People getting along, relief, yes. Oh my goodness, guys, you guys are feeling what I'm feeling. You guys have tapped into what the Live Rich movement is, because it's about living in all of those things. It's about living in happiness, peacefulness, being released from anxiety of the things that keep you bound mentally, physically, emotionally, and in the past, so that you can move and progress to the present. It's about accessing relief of all of those things. Higher self empowerment, yes. And more than anything, it is about gaining freedom to do all of those things. Your purpose is your power, and your power puts you on the track of living in that freedom. Purpose is freedom. Once you know how to live in your purpose, you are able to gain freedom in every and all ways. Enrich life and helping others to be enriched. That's exactly what it's about. That's what it's about, you guys. Purpose and joy, living in your freedom. That's exactly what the Live Rich movement is. So it's really imperative that people stay grounded in their purpose, that they discover what their purpose is, and that they move forward with what their purpose is once they have an idea of what it is. But again, a lot of people don't even make it a priority to figure out what that is, which is where I come in, because it's literally my jam. All right, so we're gonna move on. The next and last part of the Live Rich movement motto, or the Live Rich motto, is fun. And this is kind of where the joy comes in. So we've talked about faith, we've talked about purpose, and now we're talking about fun. And again, remember when we spoke about peace, joy, and purpose, all of those things have kind of been tapped into a little bit. But fun is where the joy comes in, and how you're able to get put on the path of your purpose, but in a way that doesn't feel like work. So let's talk about right now and everything that's happening. So many people at the start of this pandemic were sitting at home thinking like, woe is me, the world is over, life as we know it is over, what are we gonna do with ourselves, this is wrong, this is happening to me, like all of these things. But what they didn't really get to, what a lot of people, not everyone, because some people I do believe got hip to it early, but what they didn't recognize was that this was the opportunity that they've probably been waiting for, that they didn't even know that they needed. Okay, what we all need to be doing in this time of uncertainty, of transition, of change, is making the most of our time, taking advantage of this time. Again, so many people don't want to pursue purpose because they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have the resources. Now, with what's going on in the world, we have all of these things in abundance. So the question is, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make the most of it? And I say, you should have fun. You should explore all the possibilities. Anything and everything that you wanted to do, now is the time to do that, because let me tell you what will happen. As we're in this space of transition right now, what's happening right now and how you choose to engage with this time right now, 2020, with all of the mess that it is, will literally set you up for the next decade or two of your life. The things that we choose to do right now, the energy that we choose to feed, the things we choose to give our attention to will be the things that will lead and guide the direction of our lives for the next probably 2 decades. So it's really imperative that if you're doing anything right now, it needs to be what you actually want to do. It needs to be grounded in your joy, and it needs to be grounded in your purpose, because right now is the time to do everything. So I always say, feel the feels, okay? Explore the possibilities and feel the feels, because you never know where they'll take you, and you also need to take inventory of them. So at this time, like all of the things that may have seemed like silly, or things that may have been random, or things that you just couldn't give any of your attention to, now is the time to explore those things. Like, what are some things, I'd love to hear in the chat, that some of you have been wanting to do for a really long time, but you just never allowed yourself to do? Like some of your dreams that you may have never pursued because it was just like, you just didn't have the time, energy, or resources, or whatever the case was. I'd love to hear some of those things in the chat. Let's see. Anybody? Writing a song. Ooh, okay, we got a little songstress. I'm writing songs over here. Okay, that's amazing. Have you done it during this quarantine? Have you taken the time to write any songs? It would be so nice. I wish I could. I'm not as quick. Exercising and running. Daylene, yes. Have you exercised and run? Ran. I promise I speak proper English. It's the heat. Ty, I need you to write that song, girl. Now's the time. Daylene, somewhat's better than not at all. So that's exciting. Ellen, I see you thinking. What is something that you've always wanted to do that you haven't done? Oh yeah, I don't know if you're typing.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want me? Oh,
I was like, we could just talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
You can
all
say
right.
everything.
Taking a free university course and telling. Ooh, we got a storyteller in the building. Ellen, now is the time that you need to be doing all of the content creation, you know, and even if it's a matter of not being able to go to the school to do it, it's still something that you can do in your own way and in your own time and with your own research. You know, the idea here is to just start doing the thing. The same way that Nick told me, just do something. Like, now is the time that we all need to be doing something that's aligned with who we truly are and being guided by our faith, or being led by faith, you know, like not giving into the fear of what could happen that's wrong with whatever the situation is, but really feeding into the faith aspect and living by faith of, well, what are the amazing possibilities that could come up as a result of just trying the thing. Salah, working on your poetry. Okay, we have a poetress. I love it. This is so awesome. Salah, have you written any poetry in this time? It's so hot. Okay, awesome. See, all right, so we're doing the things. We're exploring the fields, and the possibilities, and we're taking inventory. So that's really awesome. And I'm gonna bring you guys to the bonus piece, because I feel like we're having fun in this time, like we need to be enjoying this time. But here's the bonus piece. It takes work. So the bonus piece and the secret bonus really isn't a secret at all. I cheated a little bit, okay? I wanted to make sure you guys were with me the whole time. But it's not a secret at all. Like anything else, it takes work, okay? It requires work and relationship. And when I say it takes work, especially in feeding into the faith aspect of things, because, oh goodness, the idea of surrender, whoo baby, that is like a daily work, okay? The idea of living in faith and believing is a daily work. And I didn't mention this earlier, but when I say believing, faith is literally believing in things that are unseen, and acting in accordance with them as though they are done. So when you live by faith, you are trusting that the same things that you are asking for, though you have absolutely no evidence of them happening around you, will be the things that take place. That is what faith is. It is simply believing. But again, that belief takes work on a daily basis. It's a mental exercise every single day. But the beautiful part is that once you start to live by that faith, once you start to move in accordance with your faith, things start to happen. Things start to happen. There's no way that things won't happen when you're living by faith, because you're trusting and you're surrendering. And that's literally the thing that the divine, well, I say the divine generally, but I believe in Jesus. So that's literally the thing that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit wants from us the most, to literally trust them. It's what they want. That's all they want. Like, believe that whatever you want is possible and attainable, and trust that as you put it out to the universe, as you put it out to them in prayer and meditation and simple conversations with yourself or conversations with others around you, that as those words leave your tongue and your lips, that those same words hold power to bring them to realization. Okay? Your mouth has power. Your words have power. Your purpose has power. Your mind has power. All of these things have power, and it requires work and relationship and you exercising those things in order to manifest the things that you truly want. But again, the most important part is to make sure that it's enjoyable and in line with your purpose, which is the reason why joy should always be the thing that leads you, because the more you are led by joy, the more you're able to access these things in a way that doesn't feel like toiling work. Because the moment something feels like work, what do we want to do? Nothing. We don't want to do any of it. We don't want to be bothered with any of it. So the idea is to really make sure that we are living in joy and having a good time. Because the moment we're able to do that, it's something that literally radiates off of you and into the lives of others. And then you're just like, again, fed by it. It's like a cycle. It's a beautiful, beautiful cycle that doesn't involve any like negative emotions or bad things. All right, so I'm getting back into, oh my goodness, Salah, for your daughter's book. Your daughter's writing a book? Or are you writing a book for your daughter? I'd love to know. This past month has been the first time I've had a chance to stop. I was doing a gig working during the beginning of the shelter in place, so I'm just experiencing this quiet time. Yes, isn't quiet time a beautiful thing? I still agree. Oh, the spirit of insight. It's amazing. Yes. Oh, your daughter's writing a book. I'd love to know how old your daughter is. Leave that in the chat. And it's awesome that you're encouraging her to do this so early. Because, again, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And with the idea of parenting, at one point, and this is again why I choose to work with people in transitional phases, I thought that I had to do the things that were expected in order to be a good mom. Like I had to get a 9 to 5, I had to do this, I had to do that. But through doing this work and really getting clear on what I wanted and living in my joy, I recognized that being the best and most full and whole version of myself was the best way to be a good parent, okay? So for any of you who are parents or caregivers to other people, or just like in a space, even with your jobs where you're working with other people and you feel like you need to put them first in order to do whatever you do well, recognize that you have it backwards. The moment you're able to live in your light and be the best version of yourself is the moment that you are able to serve them with a full cup. You're able to offer the best of yourself without sacrificing anything, and it blesses them immensely. So she's 23 years, my children are 23, 25, 22. Oh, okay, Salah, so you're like in the prime of your life. You out here about to live your best mommy life because like everybody has their own thing going on and now you can focus on yours. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Okay. That's awesome, Sala. So Sala is like a live-rich mommy. That's what I call moms that like know the importance of living in purpose and in freedom, and they share that. That Sala, you a live-rich mommy. She's encouraged her children to live their lives in freedom. That's amazing. That's awesome. So going back to the secret bonus, just know that whatever it is that you actually want, it's not a secret at all. It takes work, and I'm gonna give you guys in this next slide some tips and tricks on how to, well, maybe not the next one, a couple of slides from now, on how to exercise this secret bonus tip, which actually wasn't a secret at all. But first, I want you guys to consider again the questions. Where have you been? Where are you going? And what do you truly want? From the perspective of, again, living by faith, living in your purpose, and having fun while you're doing it. What does that look like? Like take 20 seconds to close your eyes and consider those 3 questions really quickly. And I'd love for you guys to write those, your responses down and keep them somewhere for yourself. All right, so it's been about 15 seconds. So I'm gonna use myself as a quick case study and about talking about finding joy and purpose during a time of quarantine and COVID-19. So in exercising the Live Rich motto, I do the following things. By exercising my faith, I do daily prayer and devotions. And this time has been like truly like so rewarding and so shifting, because so many things that you consider or are having your mind, or questions that you may have, when you take that time to live in faith and get quiet, so that you're not just talking about all the things that you want to do, but you're being silent, or you silent your spirit or your inner voice so that you can be guided and led, makes all the difference. So many like answers have been given to me, so many new directions and things like that. And a lot of things have manifested from simply making a practice of exercising my faith and getting quiet and doing daily prayer and devotions. Purpose. In this time, by exercising purpose, I've like doubled down on it, okay? Helping others find joy, health, and purpose as well. So I got to work. I started creating new products, like the Kicking the Stay-at-Home Blues for parents who were dealing with this new reality of having to be with their families, their children, and their spouses 24/7, because that's the life that I live. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 4 years. So I created this guide to help people. I've started something called LRM Challenges to help people live in their joy and have transformation on a daily basis by taking, again, small pieces of the puzzle, one feel-good thing at a time. That's the idea. And with fun, I avoided doing things that just made me feel worse about the things that were happening, okay? I stopped watching television as far as the news. I limited my time on social media. But the biggest thing in like accessing fun during this time was I purchased a pair of skates. I've been wanting skates like my whole life. And I bought skates during quarantine, and I challenged myself to 90 days on wheels. So today is gonna be, I think, day 48 of 90 days on wheels. But basically I get on my roller skates and I roller skate, and it's become a form of self-care and fun, but it's also a space where I get to challenge myself and learn new things and get uncomfortable while finding joy in the process. So I'd like you guys to consider how you're doing that. And exercising your joy and your purpose, here are the 3 simple daily tricks to finding joy and purpose that can really help put you on track. Because again, remember, it takes work. All of these things sound simple enough, but it's like another thing to actually activate and do these things in your daily life. So the first simple trick I'm gonna give you is to get your mind right. And it starts with things like your prayer and devotions, or your time of daily meditation, basically just getting still. It's a persistent act and it's a constant work. But even if you take 5 to 10 minutes to do it a day, it can create tremendous results. And just being quieted and led. So you're not doing things in a way that's reactive, but what's the opposite of reactive? Reflective, I guess. Maybe that's an idea. You know, like being reflective versus reactive. Because if you're always just reacting to things, you're not really processing or understanding why you're doing the things that you're doing. It's just like, it's like an automatic thing, but the result may not be actually what you want. So it's really important to reflect. The second trick that I would like to give you guys is to find inspiration. Find inspiration. Inspiration is all around you. Even in like really crazy times, there's so many ways to get inspired. And when you're in doubt about what it is that you are doing or how to do it, I would encourage you to look to stories of those who have made it or who are finding success against all odds, that are doing something similar to what you'd like to do, or maybe not even, you know, it could just simply be a story or someone who's just really inspiring you in some way, and how they've overcome something or the way that they see something. But find inspiration. You know, again, it's feeding faith over fear. So look to inspirations of faith versus like allowing yourself to be drowned in like the negative experiences of others, negative mindsets, or people that are maybe not understanding it, or just think that whatever it is that you're trying to do won't work. Find inspiration around you. And the third and most important part is probably well, it's not the most important, well, they're all important, but celebrating little wins. So often we get so downhearted by the fact that we aren't making these tremendous leaps and bounds to whatever our goals and our dreams are. But just know that every big dream, every big vision, every big thing that someone has ever accomplished always started off with a tiny first step. So it's really important that we celebrate our little wins every single day. And one way that's really helpful in doing this is to document and track your own personal journey and your own wins. So keep a journal, talk about the thing, or a planner even, and write in it what you want to do for each day, or where you want to be at the end of the week, or whatever the case is. And then each day that you do something that's on track for that, write it down. Celebrate your little wins. I have this planner that I literally write on in everything that I want to do. I have a whole vision board in here. Vision boarding is a little bit of my thing, but I will share more about that later. I have like 4 vision boards, but oh man, I don't have my big vision board. I left it outside. Should I get my little vision board or my big vision board? You guys want to see my vision board? Real quick. Give me a Y in the chat box if you want to see my vision board. Trust me, it's worth it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right. One sec. I'm going to get the large vision board. Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh, we could all talk now for a little bit. Oh, Sala can't speak. I forgot her computer does a weird noise.
Okay.
And I don't think oh, that was fast, Erica. Yes.
You can see it? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my vision board. Actually, wait, how do I do this so that I can see with you guys?
Oh, you don't see us.
All right. So this is my vision board, and it opens up like this, right? So I have like little sections for each thing. But then the awesome part is that it like folds out like this.
Oh, I like it.
Wow. That's a portable vision board.
Yes.
Wow.
It's so many visions. So this is like health and wellness. So like mental and physical. I don't know. This is like my family and relationship section. And this is like dreams for my business, my life, however, you know, my section. This section is all me right here. And I share this because, again, my theme for 2020 is by faith. But it's really important to have an idea of where you want to go. And you have to be able to document the process. So even though I have this this board to remind me every day, it's a tool, but it's not the thing. The work happens on a daily basis. You know, you can't just start a process like this wanting to activate all of these things that are in here and then not take little steps every day. So that's where my planner comes in, because this is where all the magic happens. Like, that was fun creating, but the steps that are taken on a daily basis, the documenting of the journey, is where all of the magic happens. And not only that, when you're able to live by faith in doing those things, you see the transition, you see the journey progress. You've been using PowerPoint and your notes on your phone. Awesome. However you got to do it. Do a little vlog. Like, I don't know, like Instagram can even be a way of tracking the process and documenting the journey. But what's most important is that you are celebrating those wins, because every step towards your ultimate vision and your goal is a step that is worth celebrating. It's a step that someone else has not taken. It's a step that you probably didn't even think you yourself could take however many years or months ago. So it's all worth celebrating, okay? Celebrate your wins. All right, we're almost done, I promise. I'm sorry, I get so excited about this stuff. So vision casting is something that I do. That's basically like what this board is. For me, it's vision casting. That's what I call it. Vision casting can help you gain clarity. It can help you do more of what you love and discover what that looks and feels like. It'll hold you accountable, and it'll also act as a catalyst for implementing actionable steps and tools that support you in creating a joy-filled life. And again, like, so many people talk about all of the things that, or the reasons why they can't, like, cast a vision or find purpose. Like, my money's tied up, I have bills to pay. I don't know when I'm gonna be going back to work, when right now is the perfect time to do whatever it is that you've been wanting to do if you're unemployed. Because again, you have the time. You know, you may not have the money, but you have the resources if you're willing to seek them out. Ain't nobody got time for joy. It's something that I feel like a lot of people talk about, because they're so concerned with everybody else's stuff. But everybody needs to make time for joy. How can you be talking about joy at a time like this? Because if you are not living in your joy, then you're allowing the enemy, and the enemy is anybody or anything that is not in line or aligned with your vision of success and prosperity. Not living in your joy allows them, whoever them is, to rob you of your mission in life. And what difference does joy really make? It makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. So joy breeds hope. And I'm gonna try to rush through these because I know it's been an hour. I'm so sorry. I just get so excited talking about these things. But when you think about what's happening with coronavirus, and I did this a while ago, so these numbers have definitely gone up, okay? Like, over 10 million people have had coronavirus. Like, over 600,000 people have died from it. It said that there was a stat that said 4 out of 5 workers worldwide were being impacted by it. Back in March, I believe it was, or was it April? Like, almost 7 million people applied for unemployment in a week. Now is the perfect time to go on a quest for purpose and joy. If there is any time to do it, now is the time to do it. While the world seems to be falling apart, this is the time that we all need to be living in joy and purpose. So let's take it on back. We're taking it back, guys. We're like winding it down and talking about, again, peace, joy, and purpose. And the reason why it's so important to focus on these things, because the moment you're able to live in your purpose, you're able to attain that peace, and you're also able to live in joy on a daily basis and in a way that isn't taxing to you or the people around you. It actually blesses you and the people around you, okay? And vision casting, in my opinion, is the process that leads you to your journey of progressing in joy and purpose. So, I mean, these are just quotes from people who have worked with me in speaking about joy and purpose and what that process was like. But just know that once you're able to embrace the journey of where it is that you ultimately want to go, and embrace the fact that it may be messy, and embrace the fact that it may be a little ugly, and embrace the fact that it's going to be a little hard sometimes, but just know that once you're able to go through it, once you're able to get through it, as you're going through it, peace and joy are developed from the journey of growth experienced through discomfort. So right now, while the world is a mess, right now, while people don't know what they're going to do for work, right now, while people are trying to figure out like if they may have COVID or not, or whatever the case is, right now, as the world is very uncomfortable right now. It's a very uncomfortable place. Just know that as you are living in your joy and as you decide to intentionally live in your purpose, you are able to attain peace and joy. You're able to access that tranquility, even at the really, really hard times and really difficult moments. There are a couple of tools that also help, but I've shared a couple with you guys already. And again, it's a practice. Ooh. So do any of you have any questions? That's it. That's basically it. I'm sorry. I know this isn't a long, did I say it? Okay, so I'm only 3 minutes over. Thank you guys for listening. Do any of you have any questions? And if you like this presentation and if you'd like to, I guess, keep up with my journey to purpose, that's what I call it, JOYRNEY, because it's all about joy in the journey to purpose, then you can follow me on Instagram or social media at Erica Lasan, or my site, ericalasan.com. Thank you so much, Giselle. Thank God, Ty, thank God. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh, Sala, I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. I hope you were taking notes. But actually, whatever. If you subscribe to my newsletter, there are things like this that are around all the time. So the information from my site is there, and like literally, this is stuff that brings me so much happiness to encourage people to live in their joy and live in their dreams. So I talk about stuff like this all the time. Tips and tricks are always being given. Oh my gosh, Daylene. So I love your question. Is it too late to make a vision board? You know it's usually done in January. No, it is never too late to make a vision board. I actually have the vision casting. It's a course that I do, and I actually offer it a couple of times a year. And the reason why is because, thank you so much, Daylene. The reason why is because so many people put so much emphasis on only writing out their goals and trying to attain their goals at the beginning of the year. Everybody starts off their New Year's with New Year's resolutions and, ooh, I'm going to do this. The best year of my life is yet to come. Then come February 2nd, they've forgotten about all of their goals. So with the Live Rich movement, and what I do is we hit a reset every quarter. Every quarter we check in to make sure that we are like making sure that we're moving towards our goals and our ultimate vision, and just doing the work, because it's constant. So many people like the idea of things, but they don't want to take the steps needed to do it. So if you sign up for my newsletter, I have more information there, because we have LRM challenges, which are coming out. The next one starts, well, the first one, I say next one like we've done it. The first one starts in August. It's called the Early Riser Challenge. I'm really excited. We're going to be giving people 3 more hours in their day to live productively and in their joy and in their purpose. Yes, Salah, reset is so necessary. Oh my goodness, Ellen, praise God. Thank you so much. This is awesome. Oh, why thank you, Daylene. I hope that you will join me there. So yeah, guys, that's basically it for me. If you're interested, please take a screenshot of this, share it with other people who may be interested in participating in the Live Rich movement or joining in on the work that's being here, because again, I truly believe that once everyone is able to live in their joy and their purpose, the world will transform and become such a better place, one feel-good thing at a time, one person at a time. So that's it for me. Live rich and happy dream chasing. I've spoken so much. You guys are probably so tired.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Erica.
It was my joy. It was my joy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone has any questions before?
Yeah,
we say bye?
anybody?
No questions? Okay,
Where can we sign up for the Early Riser Challenge?
Those things are available on my site. If you go to ericalasan.com and click the Live Rich movement, it takes you to the Live Rich Movement site, and then there's a section there that says join the challenge. And there's also a pop-up that comes up. So you'll have access to potentially join it however you'd like.
Okay, great.